Okay, so this is the homework problem from the previous portion. All right. So I thought you guys should do one more problem so that you can get some more practice. All right. So in this homework problem, as you can see, a particle of mass m in an infinite potential well. So this is a infinite potential square well of length a has the following initial wave function at t equal to 0. Okay, so this is your wave function at t equal to 0. And now these are the questions. If we measure energy, what values will we find and with what probabilities calculate the average energy? I think you have solved a similar problem. Somehow I remember solving a similar problem, but you can do this for homework. Then second question is, find the wave function psi of x comma t at any later time t. Determine the probability of finding the particle at a time t in the state this. So this is the third state, right? Because this is E3 and this is 3 pi x by a. So this is the third eigenstate. So you have to find the probability of finding the particle in the third eigenstate at time t. Then calculate the probability density rho and the current density and verify that this equation is satisfied, right? This equation we have seen, so you need to verify that this is satisfied. All right, so this is your homework problem. You can do this. Now we are going to solve one more problem, right? So far we have seen all of these square potential wells, infinite potential well, right? And those kinds of problems where we solve for the energy eigenvalues and the eigenstates. So now we are going to look at the harmonic oscillator, and harmonic oscillator has a potential which is quadratic in the x variable, right? So this is the general form of the harmonic oscillator potential. So this potential is very important because in lot of problems of physics, this is the first approximation that they produce. Like, okay, if you want to tackle a problem, the first thing that you do is, okay, let's apply a harmonic potential to this problem and see what happens. And many times it gives you pretty good results. Okay, so this potential is very important. Okay, so learning how to solve this and what the eigenvalues, eigenfunction are for this kind of potential becomes important. Also, if you look at so this represents, okay, this potential represents that a particle of mass m is oscillating with a angular velocity omega. Okay, so if you consider a diatomic molecule, then the effective mass of the diatomic molecule will be the average of the two masses, right? Because there are two atoms, so the average of the two. And then what is the frequency or the angular velocity with which it is vibrating? Okay, so that kind of represents a harmonic oscillator problem. So the potential there is a harmonic oscillator, and then when you apply this potential into and you add it to your Schrodinger equation, how are you going to solve it? So as I said, this potential is very important for all branches of physics. You will encounter this in classical mechanics, electrodynamics, statistical mechanics, solid state, right? Atomic, nuclear, particle physics, transition state theory, right? In chemistry. So all of these places, you will encounter this potential. So it's a very important potential. Okay, so this I've already told you, V of x is equal to half m omega square x square. This represents the potential for a particle of mass m that is oscillating with an angular frequency omega. Okay, all right. So now we have to solve the Schrodinger. So this obviously this is a parabola, right? Half m omega square x square. So this is a parabola. If you plot it with respect to x, you're going to get a parabolic plot. Okay, so this is how it looks like. All right, so the Hamiltonian is going to be obviously the momentum term and then the kinetic energy plus potential energy. Kinetic energy has the momentum operator, and the potential energy will correspond to the harmonic oscillator problem that we have. So V of x is going to be half m omega square x square. So this is your Hamiltonian, and this is the Schrodinger equation that you need to solve. Okay, so we will solve this Schrodinger equation by two methods. The first method, which is the analytic method, that is just solving this differential equation, right? This is a differential equation now. So just solving this differential equation using the standard differential equation methods, that is one method. And the second method is to solve it using algebraic method. So we define some new operators in the second method and then we try to solve it. Okay, all right. So let's look at, so in the first method, I'm not going to go into many details because that method is a bit complicated. So people don't really prefer that. Although we should know what the solutions look like and how it is done, but it's not very easy to deal with that method. And that's why people generally prefer the second method. But first method also, we'll see how it is done in general, but I'll not go into the details of the steps. But if you're interested in the details, of course, there are books available, you can look at it. Okay, so in the first method, what we do, we just solve the differential equation, right? So this is our differential equation. And I hope I'm still online. Yes. Okay. Okay, fine. All right. So this is our differential equation and we need to solve it. So I'm just bringing everything to the other side. Okay. Just to make it easier so that this side is only d square by dx square and everything else is brought to the other side. So minus h cross square by 2m, I'm bringing to the other side, right? That's all I'm doing in the first step. Okay, and then over here, I'm just combining the terms so that d square by dx square into psi of x is the first term. And second term turns out to be 2me by h cross square minus m square omega square by h cross square into x square. Okay, so this term, right, this term I'm calling it as 1 by x naught whole power 4. It's just a way to, because we don't want to always keep on writing this, so we are defining some constant which is equal to x naught equal to root of h cross by m omega. Okay, so this is our equation that we need to solve. Okay. So if we need to solve this equation, we have to, so if there was no term here, right? If this x square term was not there, then you know how to solve this differential equation, right? This is just a differential equation with some constant, second order differential equation. But now that you have this x square term, right? This is a term which depends on x and the wave function also depends on x. So now this is not very easy to solve. So there is going to be, like there are some certain special kind of differential equations and this belongs to that class of differential equations. And so there is a standard solution for it. So we are going to look at it. Okay. All right. So this kind of differential equation, it was solved by some mathematicians long before quantum mechanics came into the picture. All right. So we have to thank them for solving such an equation. So finally, when quantum mechanics was written, they could just use that result and solve it. Okay. So now because there is a term like this, x square into psi of x, right? Here you can see x square into psi of x, there is this term. So one of the ways to solve this differential equation would be to, okay, let's consider that the solution at psi of x, the eigenfunction psi of x is equal to f of x into exponential of minus x square, right? Some Gaussian function multiplied with f of x. So they have kind of started with this solution and then they have verified that, okay, this is actually a solution. So if you use this, right? So what you do is now you use this psi of x into this Schrodinger equation. So instead of this psi of x wherever you have in the Schrodinger equation, you use this function, right? F of x into exponential of minus x square by 2x naught square. So you will get some equation, right? You will get some differential equation which will now be a differential equation in terms of f of x, right? Because exponential minus x square, anyway, you can do the differentiations and everything here. So you will now get some differential equation which will be in terms of f of x. So now all you have to do is you have to solve for f of x. If you solve for f of x, then you put f of x in this equation here, and then you have the solution for psi of x. Okay, so that's what you have to do. Okay, so now f of x, getting f of x is non-trivial. So what people have done is they have expanded f of x in terms of some series. Okay, so the series is, so this is something like a, like a Taylor series, something like that. So there is a coefficient and then x power n. So it is a series. But obviously the wave function has to converge at infinity. It cannot be, infinity at x equal to infinity also. The wave function should always be finite no matter what the value of x is. Okay, so that condition applies to f of x also, because f of x is part of the wave function psi of x. So the same condition applies to f of x, and so we will have so we need to apply the condition that the wave function, that this f of x should be finite even at x equal to plus and minus infinity. Okay, so applying those conditions and using this form for the wave function and using this form for f of x and applying all these conditions, we can get the wave function and the eigenvalues. Eigenvalues are obviously energy, because the operator is the Hamiltonian operator, obviously. So eigenvalues are energy, and the wave function would be the eigenstates. Okay, so finally the energy eigenvalues turn out to be n plus half into h cross omega. Okay, and okay, so here the question is, right, so here what is the 0 point energy? N equal to 0, and that is h cross omega by 2, right? So obviously the energy is not 0, right? The 0 point energy, like there is no, it's not, E0 is not 0, E0 is some finite value, right? That's the whole concept of, 0 point energy. Okay, all right. So that's fine. So 0 point energy here is for n equal to 0. So E naught is equal to half h cross omega. This is the lowest energy. All right. So now after, like, we can get energy eigenvalues, and then after using these f of x conditions and all of that, you can get the eigenstates as well. So eigenstates turn out to be in this form. Okay. So this is some complicated function, and this Hn, you have never seen this Hn before. So this is known as a Hermite polynomial. So this is Hn of x by x naught. So this is called as a Hermite polynomial. This is obviously a Gaussian function, right? E power minus x square. This you have seen before. This is a Gaussian function, and this is some normalization constant. Okay, so this is your wave function. So this Hermite polynomial, okay, I'm just going to give you what it means. So
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, when you normalize this, the psi x that you just showed.
Yeah.
So when you do the normalization here, so suppose you say this is the Gaussian one, and this is the Hermite polynomial, okay?
Yeah.
Then how can we do that? Can you show? Because for any psi n of x, we
So
do the
for each,
normalization.
for each psi n of x, you have to normalize, and you will get this. So psi 0 of x, you have to normalize. Psi 1 of x has to be normalized. Psi 2 of x has to be normalized, and then you will
Okay,
get.
this is for the n term. This is for the like general form of for
This
the
is the general
in
form.
unit one.
Yes. This is the general form for.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. So
I
this
thought
is
it is
the.
like after you normalize, you get this.
Yes, after you normalize, you get this. So this is the nth eigenstate. Okay. So of course the 0th eigenstate, first eigenstate, second eigenstate, and all you can get. So for that you need what is h0 of x, right? h0, h1, h2, and all. So hn of y, the Hermite polynomial, the general form of this function is in this form, right? This is minus 1 power n e power y square. Nth derivative with respect to y, right? E power minus y square. Okay, so dn by dy n e power minus y square. So if you do the zero derivative means n is 0. So there's no derivative here. It is just e power y square, right? So that is the 0th derivative, and first derivative is just d by dy and so on. Okay. So if you do those calculations, so you can derive what is the H naught, H1, H2, H3, etc. You are going to get these values. Okay, so H naught of X will be 1, H naught of X, H1 of X will be 2X, H2 of X will be 2y square, 4y square minus 2, and so on. Okay, so this is what you have to substitute here, and you will get the complete wave function. All right. So this is like the general wave function for nth eigenstate, but of course you can get psi 0 of x. So if it is psi 0 of x, this will be there, this will be the same, and here you will have x 0 of x by x naught. So x 0 of x by x naught is 1. Okay. So that is going to be your wave function. All right. Of course, for n factorial also you have to substitute 0 factorial for psi 0 of x. Okay, 0 factorial is what? 1. Yeah. Okay. So this is what? So this is how you get the wave functions, and we've already seen the energy eigenvalues. So now by the second method also you have to get the same thing, right? This is a mathematics problem. No matter which method you use, you have to get the same solution. Okay, so we have to like kind of see whether we get the same solution or not. All right. So what is the second? Is the first method clear? Right? I've given you the basic steps, and there is finally some complicated wave function that you get at the end. Okay, so that is your first method. So what is the second method? Second method uses ladder operators. It is also like it uses the matrix algebra and stuff like that also, which we'll see later. But in the second method, what we do is we will this Hamiltonian operator, we are going to use, or we are going to see that this Hamiltonian operator is a combination of two other operators, and using that we simplify the problem, and then we get our eigenvalues, eigenfunctions and stuff like that. So let's look at it. So H is again same. We start with the same Hamiltonian operator, which is minus h cross square by 2m d square by dx square plus half into m omega square x square. All right. So this is obviously P square by 2m kinetic energy, and this is obviously the potential energy. All right. So I'm just going to do some algebra here to simplify the problem. Okay, so that we can get some common term outside, and this can be written as P square plus Q square. Okay, so small p square is capital P square by m h cross omega, and small q square is capital X square into m omega by h cross. Okay, so this is just some algebraic simplification that we have done. All right, so our small p and small q we define, and so Hamiltonian can be written as h cross omega by 2 into p square plus q square. Okay, so this is our Hamiltonian. All right, okay. So now what we'll do is we'll introduce two non-Hermitian dimensionless operators. Okay, so these are the two operators, A and A dagger. Okay, so A is 1 by root 2 Q into Q plus IP, and A dagger is 1 by root 2 into Q minus IP. Obviously, right, this A dagger is the dagger of A, right? It is correct, isn't it? All right. So this is your A and this is your A dagger. So I want you guys to now work out what is A dagger A, because this is an important thing that we will use. So please work out what is A dagger A. Let me know when you're done, okay? Hmm? Can someone come? You want to do it here? Who wants to do it here? Someone come and do it. Or tell me the final answer. Use this. No, use this line. You can keep your hand. No problem.
Yeah, to be listening.
What is it? Q plus something, no? No, not this. Go to desktop. This is your Q plus IP. No, Q minus IP is your data. There. Yeah. Eraser. That will, you use the second one. Okay. You can keep your hand properly. It won't, nothing will happen.
Second relation is the Hermitian relation.
Right?
I forget now. You have written
What?
I need the Hermitian operator.
What do you need?
The Hermitian relation. Yeah, this one.
Between P and Q. So between P and Q, it is IH cross, no? No, you will get plus. Huh? Yeah.
But
You should have a commutator for Q and P, right? There should be another term here, isn't it?
I'm forgetting.
Okay, leave it. Sorry. So let's see. So here, of course, you're going to get 1 by 2, and you're going to get, see, P and Q does not commute, right? So you have to do term by term multiplication. So if you just do this is wrong. There should be some additional term here. Okay. So what is the term? So let's do the multiplication term by term. So I'm multiplying these two, so you get Q into Q, and then you get plus I, plus I Q P minus I P Q, okay, and minus I and I will be plus 1, so you get plus P P. Okay, so this is what you're going to get, right? So now this is nothing but your half into Q square plus P square, and now this is your commutator, right? So plus I by 2 Q, is this correct? Right? So this is what we're going to get. So let's see. I hope that I've written the same in my notes. Okay. Right. Okay. So this is what you're going to get. All right. So now obviously Q and P, you have to use Q and P is just X and P written in a different way, right? So X and the commutator of X and P is what? I H cross. Okay, so Q and P, we will get I. The commutator of Q and P, this you can work out yourself. This you will get I. Okay, so what you do is now, you had this relation. So instead of a commutator of QP, you are going to write I. So this will be I into I, so minus 1, right? So this is going to, so the A dagger A is going to become half into Q square plus P square minus half, right? Okay. By the way, what's your name? Akash. Good, very good for coming here and trying it out. All right. So, right, so this is the A dagger A that you're going to get. Okay, so this A dagger A we are going to use again and again. That's why we had to calculate what this A dagger A is going to be. Okay, so obviously now I'm just rewriting it. Okay, we'll see why we need to rewrite it. So H, the Hamiltonian operator H was actually H cross omega by 2 into P square plus Q square, right? So instead of now half into P square plus Q square, we can write this form, this way. So the Hamiltonian operator is written in terms of these two new operators. Okay, so this is H cross omega into A dagger A plus half. All right? Okay. Right. So this n and all is not required. Okay. So let's not worry about n. This was some other method in some other book. So I'm not going to use that method. So, okay, let's just know that H operator is H cross omega into A dagger A plus half. All right. So I want you to now calculate what is this commutator. So please calculate the commutator. Okay, I'll tell you what A, so this commutator you have to calculate, A comma A dagger, okay? And A dagger is, I'll just show you what it is. So this is your A and this is your A dagger. You have to calculate the commutator A comma A dagger. Please compute it and let me know. One. What? You got one. You want to come and do it here? Come. Just click on this in the pen. Yeah. Go to the next page. Yeah. You need to go like this. Yes. This is what you have to do.
So we already calculated this. Sorry.
Q square plus Q square. Yeah.
And this we will get like P equal. So if we subtract this and this, we cancel it, and we will divide by 2. Q comma P minus P comma. This will cycle. So this will be minus cycle.
Yes. Minus 1 minus minus.
Yeah. I put the eraser.
It is, yeah, that one is. You can use the, yeah.
I replace this.
Hmm. This line. Hmm.
This will be minus 1 and this will be plus 1.
Yeah, correct.
Minus 1 minus I square.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, because like there will be identity of the color. So, yeah.
If we had written it in terms of vectors, then yeah, identity. But this is just algebra, so this is the one. Okay. I have all of you got this, right? Good. So what is your name? Huh? Mrityunjay. Okay, good. All right. So now finally I'm getting to know who the faces corresponding to the names after 2 years of teaching you. Finally. Anyway. Okay. So, all right. So there was one more question. Is this operator Hermitian or not? This A dagger A. Huh? Huh? You think it is not? You don't need to do big calculation. On this itself, you can make a dagger and see whether it is Hermitian or not. Someone from this side. Huh? It's not Hermitian? Come and work it out. Come. Come. No, but dagger, we what did we calculate? We calculated. Array, God only knows what these things are. We calculated this. No, this just means that A is not Hermitian.
No, if A dagger, two whole dagger, A dagger. Anything like A dagger, two whole dagger is A dagger A. So if they are not committing, so that is as a whole.
A dagger A.
To the
Whole dagger
is A dagger.
is A dagger, A dagger, dagger. No?
A.
What is this? A dagger, A. So you are getting back this.
We can write from above.
Huh?
We can write it from above. 1 minus A dagger is the analytic form of
Yeah, but
A dagger minus 1. to the
see,
power of
this
dagger.
just means that A and A dagger do not commute. I'm not saying anything about whether something is Hermitian or not. You need to check by this formula, right? So there is some operator A. If A dagger is also equal to A, then you say it is Hermitian, right?
Yes, yes.
Huh. So now, but
So A dagger is the analytic form of 1 A dagger minus 1 to the power of 1 dagger.
huh.
So both LHS and RHS are not equal. That means
You're confusing this with this, I think.
no.
No? So here, okay, let's say A is A dagger A. Huh? Now we have to see if A dagger, okay, so if we get A dagger is also equal to capital A, yeah, then it is Hermitian. What was A dagger for us? It is this only. Right? This is A dagger only, na? What did I calculate here? Right. What's your name? Shivam. Okay, good. Okay, so this means that A dagger, small A dagger A is Hermitian, right? Have you guys understood or should I explain again? Anyone who wants me to explain again, you can let me know. I'll explain again. Okay? All right, this is, I'm just keeping A is equal to A dagger A. And then we have to see whether A dagger equal to A, only then it is Hermitian. All right, so that's what we have done here. Okay. Okay, so this operator is Hermitian and A dagger A does not come. A dagger and A do not commute with each other. Okay, those are two different statements that I'm making. All right. Okay. Okay, so this you got, I think. So now we need to find out the eigenvalues. All right, so now we have reduced our Hamiltonian in terms of these operators A and A dagger, and now we'll try to find the eigenvalues. Okay, so I guess we won't be able to complete, but we'll see how much we can proceed. All right, so my H, okay, so this A and A dagger do not commute. The commutator relation turns out to be 1. Okay, and then we have A dagger minus A. Of course, this is the commutator relation. So we can get A into A dagger, which is 1 plus A dagger A. Okay, this is all from the commutator relation. I've not done anything here. All right. So now our initial Hamiltonian was H cross omega into A dagger A plus half. So instead of that, we can write A dagger minus 1 plus half, right? I hope this is correct. This is correct, right? Please verify. Okay, because I'm prone to making typos. So please let me know if you find some silly mistake or anything that is wrong. All right. So we are going to get H is equal to H cross omega into A dagger minus half. So if we write A dagger A, then we have plus half. If we write A dagger, then we have minus half here. Okay, so both are the same thing. We're just converting one to another. All right. So now, to get the energy eigenvalues, we need to solve. Anyway, we have not yet solved the Schrodinger equation yet. So we need to solve it, right? Which is H psi is equal to E psi. So that is the Schrodinger equation. Okay, so A dagger A plus half into psi should give you E by H cross omega into psi. Okay, so this H cross omega, I've just taken it to the other side. Okay, that's all I've done, nothing more. And the other equation is also there. So this is in terms of A dagger A. But if you write in terms of A dagger, you have to write A dagger minus half into psi will give you E by H cross omega into psi. Okay, so these are your two equations. Okay, all right. So now I'm making a statement which we will verify. Okay, the statement is if psi is the solution. So psi is the solution for Schrodinger equation. We are saying, of course, this is a Schrodinger equation. Psi is our wave function. So if psi is the solution for Schrodinger equation, then we are saying that A dagger psi is also a solution of the Schrodinger equation. I'm making this statement. Okay. So let us verify if it is true. Can you guys verify? Put A dagger psi in this equation and verify for me. So use this equation, okay? Use this equation, okay? And instead of wherever you have psi, put A dagger psi. Okay, that's what I want to do. Do it and see what you're getting. Okay, write it down first, then you'll get some idea. So the statement I made was, if psi is the solution of the Schrodinger equation, I'm saying A dagger psi is also a solution of the Schrodinger equation. But of course, that's just a statement. We need to see if that is true. So we have to verify it. Okay. All right. So I'll now show you what we have done. Okay. So I'm saying A dagger psi is also a solution of Schrodinger equation, which means H operator acting on A dagger psi should also give you something into A dagger psi, right? That something might be different from E, but that will be something into A dagger psi. Okay. So I'm just adding A dagger psi after the operator. So this is my operator. I'm adding A dagger psi. So finally, I'm getting A dagger psi plus half into psi. There is a dagger here, okay? Right? There's a typo, right? Okay. So half into A dagger psi. All right. So then I'm taking the A dagger outside and I'm getting A dagger psi. I'm not changing the position, right? The order remains same, okay? Please make sure this is, in quantum mechanics, the order is very important, right, of the operators. So again, I'm just taking this A dagger outside, and from here also there's supposed to be A dagger here. So I'm taking this A dagger outside. So I'm getting A dagger psi plus half into psi. Okay. Then what I'm doing, so H cross omega into A dagger, and instead of this, so A dagger, I'm using the previous equation that we have got, which is E by H cross omega plus half into psi. Okay, and then there is already a half psi here. Okay, so now I'm getting E by H cross omega plus half will be 1 plus 1 into this A dagger psi. This is now just a constant. So we can take it outside of, right, put all the constants together in one place. So we have H cross omega into E by H cross omega plus 1 into A dagger psi. Okay, so this is going to be, so H of A dagger psi turns out to be E plus H cross omega into A dagger psi. All right. So this is so this means that obviously A dagger psi is also an eigenstate of the Hamiltonian operator, right? Because we are getting some constant into A dagger psi, or some constant which is not a function of the psi, right, into A dagger psi. Okay. Similarly, we can show for the other thing also. Here we have shown that A dagger psi is a solution of the Schrodinger equation. We can also show that A into psi is also a solution of Schrodinger. So similarly, we can show that A psi is also a solution of the Schrodinger equation, and with energy E minus H cross omega. So here we got E plus H cross omega in the case of A dagger. For just A, if you have to follow the same procedure, right? So instead of A dagger psi, we will just have A into psi. Okay, so just follow the exact same procedure, and we are going to get E minus H cross omega over there. Okay. All right. So what does this mean? This means that if you use the operator A dagger, you are moving up the energy ladder by H cross omega. If you use the operator A, just A, that means you are moving down the energy ladder H cross omega by H cross omega. Okay, because you are getting E minus H cross omega, so you are moving down. Okay, so that's what it means. So how much down can you move? You can't move down below the 0 point energy, right? That is the lowest energy that we have already seen. Okay, so you cannot move something that is below the 0 point energy. If you try to move some below the 0 point energy, you will get 0. Okay, the wave function is not going to exist. So that solution will become 0. Okay, so that is that kind of intuitive thinking we are going to use here now. Okay, so if psi 0 is the lowest eigenstate with the lowest energy, all right, then A psi 0 should become 0 because we cannot move lower than the lowest energy. So if we try to move lower than the lower energy, instead of going down by h cross omega, we will just get 0 because we cannot move lower than that. Okay, so that is the idea here. So A psi 0 will give you 0. So now you can, so you already know what A is. A is 1 by root 2 into Q plus IP into psi naught. So now if you solve this equation, you are going to get psi naught. You are going to get the 0th eigenstate, right? That is the solution. So this is your homework problem. I want you to solve this, okay? Obviously, you should get back what you got from the first method also, right? So in the first method, whatever psi 0 of x you got, here also you should get the same thing, right? This is just a different method, but the solution has to be same, okay? So the solution that you will get will be some Gaussian solution, right? It will be a Gaussian function. And you can normalize it, and if you normalize it, you will get this answer. Okay, this is your lowest eigenstate. All right. So I'll stop here, and then tomorrow we'll see how to get the energy eigenvalues. All right. We have to get the same solution, right? Energy eigenvalues was n plus half into h cross omega. So in this method also, we have to get the same thing. Okay, that would be our aim. Any questions? Okay. All right. Good. So I'll stop here.